Hello, this is Ken Ferry with this week's Boots in the Field report. Down corn, weather, and backed up elevators have kind of stalled the progress here at the harvest in the center part of the state. I've had several reports from growers working on harvesting this down corn, stating that the double pro hybrids without insecticide are coming out of the ground, roots and all, and of course taking the dirt balls and root balls through the combine. But their traded corn is staying anchored, and wondering what that difference is. Now, these reports are coming from areas or specific fields where we reported rootworm feeding this summer. The feeding was mainly on the fifth set of crown roots and the first set of brace roots. This damage restricted the depth of those roots. The corn that's pulling out of the ground is still yielding well. And in a number of fields, it's still out yielding some of the traded corn, even though it's coming out of the ground. That's because the roots that are being damaged here really don't play that big a role on yield. They're more for anchoring. And again, if we'd have harvested this crop 30 days earlier, we wouldn't have noticed the loss of those roots. But it is showing up now as we're dealing with the down corn. These reports, as well as a number of you guys sent in pictures of rootworm beetle on your combine windows when you were combining those green tough beans, are indicators that our rootworm population is building in areas. Hopefully your pest team has been on top of this and has a good idea what your population is doing. In some areas, they're showing even resistant to the traits, meaning we're finding more and more feeding on traded corn, which is even a bigger concern. Other areas, though, the population is staying quite low. We just aren't seeing the beetles. We aren't seeing the feeding. Now, in the areas where we're seeing the build in population, this doesn't mean that you can't use a double pro next year, but you will have to add a soil insecticide to your program. So keeping an eye on the population and the feeding every year keeps us from a major problem that we deal with in the fall with down corn. The EPA has extended the Dicamba label out to December of 2020, with some label changes, of course, such as no applications on soybeans 45 days after planting. We have an hour after sunrise, 2 hours before sunset, as well as some new buffer restrictions, and only certified applicators can actually do the applicating. This announcement is later than most people expected, but it's still in time to fit with next year's plans as far as your herbicides and your variety that you're going to be planting out there. So good news that something finally showed up on that front. Maximum soil temperatures, as I look here yesterday, were still at the 60-degree mark for most of the state. So let's keep those toolbars in the yard, wait for this temperature to come down. Yield data is coming in at a strong pace from you guys as you cross the finish line. Keep that up. The crews are following up the combines. So again, keep calling those fields in as you knock them down. We have some save the dates. We have set Tuesday, November 13th as our hand harvest date. We need shuckers, we need counters, we need weighers, sheller crews, data entry crews out there. The guys say that we got a little over 4,000 ears to go through this year. So call Katie and let her know if you can participate in this day of fun. It'll start at 8 o'clock and lunch will be served. Also mark December 10th and 11th, that's a Monday and a Tuesday, for our annual basic and advanced basic meeting. This meeting is repeated every year to cover the basic agronomy and the foundation of how crop tech makes and implements its fertility program. It's a good review for customers, but it's targeted towards new customers, prospects, landowners, or farm owners who want to learn more about how the crop tech program works and how the fertility part of it is put together. Weather permitting, I think we'll finish plot harvest next week. To stay up to date, check out our website at croptechinc.com and subscribe to our podcast, Boots in the Field Report. Keep her safe, keep her moving.